Welcome to another Seasons in Garden video. First, I want to wish you a very happy new year and happy holidays. Now this video, I'm going to talk about the plans for 2021, also the results of 2020, what was good, what was bad, what things we are going to improve, and what awaits us in the future. Now, I plan a lot at the beginning of the new year, and some things we manage to do, other things we don't. So bear in mind that this isn't set in stone. So the first things, let's look back at the previous year and how it was for us. It started bad, real bad. The beginning of the year saw us quarantined because of the pandemic, and we weren't able to do all of the things in the garden that we were supposed to, that we should have done last year. One of the big things is flower borders. We wanted to do a lot of the borders around the lawn that were supposed to have veggies and flowers, but because of the quarantine that was happening in the first half of the year, so we were quarantined from the end of February till the middle of April, there was no way for me to actually go to the garden and to dig all of it. I spent a lot of time sick during those days, so no way am I going to be able to dig half a garden and plant everything that I wanted to plant. Because of that, our tomatoes did not have a good harvest this year. A lot of the tomatoes that we harvested in the end were green, and they had to ripen on our windowsill, and that was a bit problematic, especially for the ones that were late tomatoes and that were producing late in the season. The only tomatoes that had a blast last year were actually small little red cherry tomatoes that are called red currant, sweet red currant. We just could not eat them fast enough. The rest of the tomatoes unfortunately did not do well. The silver fir, that one did very well because it's early tomato, so it comes early to crop, so the late frosts and the late planting didn't affect it a lot. The mid-season tomatoes just managed to ripen before the first frost and the first low temperatures, but the late producing tomato varieties were just completely devastated this year. One tomato that we didn't have like one ripe fruit from it was, for instance, golden Ekunigin, which year before was so prolific and we just could not eat it. We were literally giving away the tomatoes to all of our friends, and everybody who knew us got at least one bowl of tomato of those yellow golden Ekunigin tomatoes last year, and this year we were just picking them green from the stems. But okay, so for the next year, in order to prevent this with the late frosts and with the long season, so that we can have maybe even a longer season, we are planning to build a greenhouse. Currently in the garden we have a little plastic greenhouse thingy that isn't actually serving us as a greenhouse as much as the second storage. So we're going to move it to another area, and on that place we are going to set a proper greenhouse that we are going to build ourselves. In this greenhouse we are going to plant tomatoes and also peppers, because we I did plant some peppers and some chilies last year, but the weather here is just not good for the peppers and for chilies. So we had exactly 2 chilies and 5 peppers. Excellent! From like 20 something plants, 2 chilies, 5 peppers. Yay! There wasn't even like 1 fruit per plant. So because of that, we are going to use them in the greenhouse. Simply pet them, and hopefully the greenhouse will be stable enough environment for them to produce early enough so that we can pick them, and also they will be more prolific that way. So the second big project that we are going to actually tackle in the spring as soon as possible, I hope in February, if not in February then in March, is going to be a raspberry trellis. Now last year we managed to do the blackberry trellis, and that one has served us very well. We are going to extend it a bit, and we are going to append the raspberry trellis to our blackberry trellis. Now, raspberry trellis and blackberry trellis are 2 different things and are done in 2 different ways. So no, you cannot use a blackberry trellis for your raspberries. I hope that I will soon manage to make the video about the raspberry jam that I made last year, but I still didn't have time to sit down and to edit it. Third project, which is something that we've been working on since the beginning of this garden, is clearing out the jungle area. Again, we have already cleared it out, but because the compost heap was there all along, we didn't even know that we have a composter there until we cleared it the first time, and then it was like, lo and behold, oh look, there's a composter over here. So now we have to again clear all of the area from all of the brambles that have sprung up in the first half of the year that we weren't able to go to the garden. So it's going to be prickly again. And I'm not looking forward to it at all. But we have to clear them out. That it's the area that is going to be our storage area, our composting area, and also it is the area that has an elder, Sambucus nigra, or black elder there. And this is super important for us because we are obsessed with elderflower juice or elderflower syrup, and it's one of the things that is always, or at least as much as possible, present in our pantry. We are currently down to 1 last bottle of the elderflower juice that I made this year. That I combined it with lime, and to be honest, elderflower lime syrup is awesome. I like it much better than elderflower lemon, so I think I'm going to actually do this again next year. But we need to clear the brambles so that I can actually pick the elderflowers come springtime, late spring, early summer. I have also planted a second elderberry on the opposite corner of the garden, and it is Black Tower Sambucus nigra, or the Black Tower Black Elderberry. Now this one has dark leaves and pink flowers, and should therefore produce a cordial that is pinkish in color. I'm going to experiment it this year, but unlike the usual variety, that is just the usual European elder, this cordial I'm going to cook because I haven't yet used this variety of elder for the elderflower syrup. Project number 4 for next year, which we have to tackle this year, is to make a garden house. According to the new laws of our garden society, it has to be made out of wood and it has to be maximum height around 3 meters. Yeah, so we are going to do it in the standard way of creating all the huts and all of the... Yeah, you know. There's 1001 video about creating a hut, but we're still going to make ours. What we have also planned is to grow a lot of tomatoes. So next year we are going to grow the most prolific ones so far, which were yellow banana legs. It was golden Königin, but you have to plant it in time in order for it to give you fruit. So we're going to use that one, and there should be also the... I'm going to also try orange variety of banana legs, and I will see... we will again plant the silver fir tree, and we will see if I can get one more variety that is exceptionally well for the juice. Because we would also like to make our own juice, tomato juice again next year. It's just so much better than the stuff you buy in the store, and also it just has one single ingredient, which is tomatoes inside, and it doesn't have any salt inside, so we can regulate salt a bit more, which is exceptionally important for my husband because he has high blood pressure, and tomatoes are like one thing that can help him with his blood pressure. We want to have a yellow one, an orange one, a red one, and I will also give it a shot and maybe make a homemade tomato ketchup. When it comes to the plants that we will be planting this year, most of the stuff is going to be edible. Because of the pandemic, we really want our garden to produce next year. I mean, it did produce the first year. The last year we had issues with planting because of pandemic and stuff like that. But we are hoping that we can avoid it this year, and that this year we can again have big harvests from our garden. The one thing that did grow well last year were broad beans. We were just ecstatic when we got the huge broad bean harvest. We sowed them in December 2019, and by the May 2020 they were just ready to pick. So that's one thing that we already saw, and we're hoping that it will again produce a big harvest because we really like broad beans. Yeah, and hopefully by the end of the year we will finally have the layout of the garden done. If not planted with all of the plants, then at least hardscaping finished so that we know where stuff is going, because last year was really difficult because the hardscape still wasn't done. There were no borders. We did not have borders for tomatoes. I had to do tomato borders and then planting of the tomatoes and everything at the same time, and everything in the middle of the heat wave, and it was exhausting. Yeah. And I forgot one more very early project that we are going to hopefully, fingers crossed, tackle in next couple of weeks, and that is we have to take our plum down completely. It has silver leaf, unfortunately, and it is not really good to eat anymore. So we're going to take it down, and we are going to create a gaming table over there so that when we come to the garden we have a place where we can play chess and we can play cards and stuff like that. It's going to be a little table that has 4 sides, so something for 4 players, and over there you'll be able to play a whole bunch of games. I managed to procure this year that thingy that that sketches, not sketches, but burns the wood. So most likely the all of the boards for the games for the game table will be done by that sketching tool. I just have to practice a bit. That's it for this year. That's quite a lot of projects, and even with that amount of projects, we still are not going to be completely done. We still have to make a trellis for the white rose that we have, but I'm not sure if we are going to manage to do that this year, or will it be a project for the next one. And thank you very much for watching the videos, especially if you watched until the end. As always, if you like videos, subscribe and like. You can visit us on our blog seasonsingarden.com, and we also have an Instagram and Pinterest that are also Seasons in Garden altogether. So you can visit us there as well. Thank you, and I hope to see you soon, and I hope that pretty soon we are going to show you our first completed project for this year. Bye bye!